Welcome to the Light Up Podcast. I am your host, Amy Wilkinson. I'm an intuitive guide and soul mentor. And through this podcast, you will receive conscious conversations, powerful downloads, and soul-stirring activations that will both support and inspire you to tap into your intuition, follow that higher calling, and live a life aligned with your soul. Because you are here to co-create a life rich in abundance, freedom, and deep joy, and to unleash who you truly came here to be. And we're here to help you discover how to access that. So let's dive on in and light up. Welcome back, guys, to Light Up Podcast. So lovely to have you tuning in today. And it's good to, I feel like I want to say it's good to be back. I have been a little bit sporadic these last, I want to say, month or two. I know that there's been podcast episodes coming out, but I just feel like I've been a little bit out of my rhythm. And today is the first of the month, the 1st of August. And I sat down this morning and I start to at the beginning of the month and it feels particularly potent at the moment. This might be because there's some big stuff happening astrologically. I'm not an astrologer by any means. I know we have a new moon coming up, but I feel good about this month of August. It is an 8 month. I know we are in an 8 universal year. I'm actually in an 8 personal year, and 8 is all about abundance, which is right up my alley in terms of what I've been really channeling lately and tuning into a lot of work that I'm doing with clients. So I woke up this morning feeling pretty fresh and pretty good to just claim some new things for myself this month. And one of those was being a little more consistent in getting in front of the microphone and channeling through an episode. So I was saying, I feel like I started off pretty consistently with this podcast, and July was a big month of going to Melbourne with my family, coming back and getting sick after Melbourne with sickness going through all of our household. And then I'm doing teacher training for a group in Brisbane, yoga teacher training. So that's been taking up a lot of energy, and it's kind of felt like it's been one thing after another. However, this is, I think, episode 28, maybe 27 or 28, which there's such a thing in the podcast industry as a term called pod fade, which is why a lot of podcasts, I think majority, it's some percentage around this, don't quote me, but it might be around this kind of 80% or something, of people that start out the podcast don't get past episode, I want to say 9. Again, don't quote me with these statistics. I'm not a statistic person, but it's not a high number. It's a high number that don't get there, but it might be 9 episodes or something like that. So we have surpassed that. So I am celebrating. And, when I started doing this podcast, it was really from a love place, from an enjoyment place, and a channel and a way that I can connect and make a connection with people. And I've always been someone that, having the yoga studios over 15 years, it was born from a desire to have a place where people can come and connect with themselves, connect with community, feel like they're coming home, really. And that grew into creating spaces, creating physical spaces. So when I sold the business last year, I knew, and it was really inevitable how it all came about. I think we get prepared for things in advance, but the idea of having the podcast was really, again, I feel like born from that same place of wanting to have a way that to connect with people and to continue the conversation. So it's just in a different format, and it's something that I love. So I just want to appreciate, once again, express my gratitude to you guys who take the time to tune in. One thing that I was doing this morning in my practice, I have a morning practice every day where I will meditate. I usually meditate for 30 minutes to an hour, a good hour, in the mornings. It's my sacred time to connect with my guides and connect with my soul. And this morning I actually listened to a subliminal that I created. So you might not be aware, but I've been making subliminals, affirmation subliminals. So if you're not familiar with what subliminals are, they are a way to embed the information, well, it is information, the affirmations within the sounds. And for me, I use high frequency hertz sounds, different vibrations. So you can actually hear the affirmations, and that's the whole point. The subliminals bypass the conscious mind, and they're a way to reprogram in beliefs in our subconscious. And it is from our subconscious. You can think of our subconscious as like a program in our bodies if we were to be computers, and that subconscious is a program, and we actually 3D print in our reality based on the beliefs that we have in our subconscious mind. And because it's subconscious, we're often not aware where they are, what they are. We're not aware the fact that they've been programmed into us from a very, very young age when we are wide open from 0 to 7 years of age, and we are just like sponges absorbing in all of the information, all of the thoughts and beliefs from people around us. And this formulates a lot of what we have in this program in our subconscious mind. So with the subliminals, it bypasses the conscious mind. So the conscious mind doesn't get an opportunity to reject. And this is what happens quite often with affirmations. We reject. We will hear an affirmation that might say, I am wealthy, and our conscious mind can reject it and say, no, I'm not. I'm really struggling at the moment. I'd like to be, but I'm not, right? And so there goes the story, and then it's not able to embed into our subconscious awareness. With subliminals, you're bypassing the conscious mind, and it goes in there. So it's a really, really powerful way. And you just listen in a relaxed state to the music. And because it's a hertz, because it's a high vibrational sound that is accessing the frequency of your body, that is elevating the frequency in your vibration. So this kind of brings me into the conversation for today. And a lot of my conversations are about the fact that we are energy and that we are creators. But this particular subliminal was around money, is around money. It's created around expanding our capacity to be a receiver of wealth and success and abundance, and really getting us to change our fundamental relationships with money. And we all have a relationship with money. This is what I find so fascinating about this conversation with money. And why I get really excited about it is because every single person, if you are living and breathing in this human experience, you have to have some kind of a relationship with money. And I think it's a really powerful practice to start to get a sense of what that is. Like we have a relationship with anything in life, with our partner, with our children, with girlfriends or boyfriends, with our parents, grandparents. Like we have relationships. And a lot of what we are here for in this lifetime is to learn and to grow through our relationships. It's the same thing with money. We have a relationship, whether we like it or not, we each have this relationship around money. So, this particular subliminal is to really support that and to reprogram in some new, really expansive beliefs around money. So, shameless plug, you can access that. You can buy that from my store. But I'm going to bring in a little fun giveaway here. If you pop a review on the podcast app, so Apple Podcast, if you're able to write a review on there, take a screenshot and email it through to me or send it through to me on Instagram, on social media. I will send you the subliminal, this hour subliminal, for free, because I do want to get it out there as well. And so I feel like that would be a really lovely exchange. So if you're listening to this podcast, feel free to go and write a review for me, because that really helps. Send it through to me and I will send you this incredible money subliminal. So I want to get back into this conversation because it is juicy and it is exciting, and it's really great to look at, okay, what is my relationship like with money? Do I find it a little triggering? Right? What are the beliefs that I have around money? And it's a really great practice to take a moment to tap into, if anything were possible, right? If I could ask for anything and I knew the answer was going to be yes, what would I be asking for around money? What type of money and wealth would I allow myself to draw in? And the reason that this is a really great practice is it's good to then notice what comes up. What do you bump up against? What are some of the sneaky beliefs that are hidden there under the bonnet that might be ruling the show here? Do you believe that money is the root of all evil? Do you believe that rich people are greedy? That if you get money, that you might then all of a sudden become someone who is selfish, right? So that's a really interesting practice to do, to look at, where is this coming from? Is this even mine? Is this anything that is really true? So we can do the work on those beliefs and we can poke holes in those beliefs, as I like to do. And that's when we've got the opportunity to then reprogram in some new belief. Because here's the thing that I know to be true when it comes to money, abundance, it is energy. Everything in this life is energy. We're 99.999% energy. We are way more energy than we are matter. And money is a resource, it's a means of exchange, it's a means of energy. And I love to think of it as an amplifier or an activator. So, whatever you believe to be true around wealth, around abundance, around money, is what you're going to see reflected in your reality. Money being energy is something that needs to move. We need to be able to let it move, which means giving and receiving, means letting it move through us. Sometimes we can tend to feel like we need to hold and hoard and be grippy with money for security or for safety. But here's the thing around that. Your money is not going to give you the ultimate safety and security that you are seeking. And that might be a really big one to land, because so often, and this is presuming that you have a home, that you're not living on the streets, that you're able to put food on the table for your family. But one of the traps that we very often fall into, and I just did an Instagram post on this morning because it felt really important as well, is thinking that the things, the money, the house, the car, the holiday, all of the things in the external world, in the three-dimensional reality, are going to make us feel a certain way. Yes, they will for a period of time, but it is fleeting. Because then what happens is, if we are in that cycle, we're then looking for that next thing and then the next thing to give us that which we are truly seeking, which is not the thing. It's the feeling. What we are seeking is always the feeling, how that makes me feel. And when we talk about manifestation, one of the most, if not the most powerful ways to manifest, because we manifest from our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs, often our subconscious beliefs, and our action, part of our action and what we're doing. One of the biggest amplifiers is tapping into our feelings, because it's our feelings that are magnetic. So you can think of it as our thoughts giving off an electric charge, and our feelings being that magnetic. So thoughts and feelings create this electromagnetic field around us, which draws things into our reality. So when it comes to money and it comes to manifestation, we can look at this, we can reverse engineer this process, rather than thinking that once I have the house, I'm going to feel freedom and security. Once I have X amount of dollars in my bank account, I'm going to feel safe. If our safety and security is riding on that, then it can very easily fall away. If something were to happen and you were to lose all that, where it's really great to ask yourself, where does this safety come from? What is the source of my safety and my security? And it is not what's in our bank account. It is not the job that we have. If you've ever lost a job before, you'll quickly realize that. So digging a little deeper into understanding where it comes from and how can I generate my own level of that which I'm seeking, which for many of us, it's the vast unlimited, it's the freedom. It's what we tap into when we remember that we are beyond the mind, that we are beyond the roles that we play, that we are beyond the things that we do, that we are beyond all the things that we have. We tap into this when we meditate, when we access that higher consciousness, and we just feel how free and expansive we are. That is what you have access to now without needing anything to change in your external reality. Do you know how powerful you are? Do you know how powerful you are as a creative being? You are a powerful creative being because you are tapped into the ultimate power that creates everything and everyone in this entire universe. You are a part of that. We are all a part of that. And the tragedy is when we fall asleep to that, when we forget that, when we forget and we believe then, we falsely believe that we are separate. And that's when we create from lack and we feel like we need to do all of the things to come back to that sense of worthiness. Your worth is not dependent upon what you have or what you do or what you acquire. Your worth has nothing to do with that. Your net worth does not impact your self-worth. Your self-worth is not tied into your net worth. If we can separate the two and come back into a recognition that you are worthy because you exist, you are worthy because you were born. There is nothing else that you need to do to understand and appreciate your worthiness and your wholeness. That is where power lies. That is where true power lies. And from there, anything is possible. Anything is possible because you, as the creator, then you are creating from wholeness. You are creating from a place of knowing that you are not lacking anything. You are not lacking anything because you can tap into all of the things, all of the feelings that the money would give you, or the holiday would give you, or the house would give you. How about you go and access that now? I did this in manifesting my home that I'm in, that I love, that I thank God for every day. I sat in the feeling of it before I saw it in my three-dimensional reality. When we create in the field, when we create in the quantum field by assuming the feeling of that desire already fulfilled, when we are able to do that, the physical world, the 3D world, will never not bring you that because it is law. Because we tap into our innate, inherent capacity to create from our energy. Everything that exists, everything that you look around and see in your world was once a thought, was once an idea, was once a creative potential. So I always say and deeply believe that if it's something you can conceive in your mind as a creative idea, as a creative thought, or as a soul desire, you have the capacity, you have the mechanics, you have the ability as the creative soul that you are to bring it into form in your three-dimensional reality. But here's the thing. We need to be able to believe it before we see it. Because life will give you, it will reflect back to you, not what you want, it will reflect back to you what you believe. It will reflect back to you who you are being. So coming back to this conversation with money, the question is then, can you start to allow yourself to feel what it feels like to have that level of wealth that you so desire? And can you allow yourself to desire that without feeling any shame? So much of the conversation around money we want to hide from. We don't want to admit that maybe that is something that we desire. Money in the hands of good people with true heart desires that want to make a difference in the world is really what heals the world. But it starts with you first believing that you are worthy, no matter what has happened in your past, no matter what you have right now, no matter what you're doing right now in this moment, knowing you are worthy just because you are. That is power, my friends. That is true power. So, understanding the importance of that, understanding that that's where you start is knowing your worthiness, knowing you are deserving just because you are, just because you exist, believing in your capacity to be a creative being, believing that you can 3D print your reality based on how you are feeling, based on what you are allowing yourself to tap into, because there is a vast, unlimited potential in the quantum field where every possibility for you exists, and how it comes into form is by you observing it, is by you allowing yourself. So, coming back to where we began earlier, like, one of the things that I'm always asking my client is to do is reach for a higher branch, is to ignite a desire, or let a desire be ignited in your heart that maybe scares you, that's bigger than what you might have previously allowed for yourself. So you claim that desire, and then we work on beautiful nourishment of our nervous system to be able to become a clear channel, a clear receiver for that abundance that we want to call in. And this is the beautiful work that we do. And I do this inside my containers and in my one-to-one work. In fact, next week in my Light Path Collective call, which is such a beautiful community, if you're not a part of that and you want to just tap in, even if you just tap in for a couple of weeks, you get 2 weeks free. The women in this are having incredible shifts. They are communicating about how amazing it is to have this touch point every fortnight where they can be held accountable, where they can stretch themselves a little bit more, where they can be in conversation with that which inspires them and lights them up. It's really, really powerful. Next week, I want to dive into this conversation around money a lot more. I've got a really cool practice to do, and I want to support women to create a level of wealth and abundance for themselves that feels really magnetic and really elevating and really, really deeply expansive. And that's what my role is right now, which is just amazing how it's all flown into this, but I love it. I love it. So I could riff on this all day, but I just wanted to drop in this conversation. So if you're curious to start to do some work around this, to reprogram some of these money beliefs, to up level your relationship with money and abundance with a lot of care and a lot of mindfulness, then this is a nice place to start. But feel free to reach out to me if you like this work and you want to dive deeper into it. As mentioned, if you could review the podcast on Apple Podcast, or give it a little review on Spotify, that would be great, and send it through to me, and I will send you back for free, no charge, my money subliminals that you can start with. It's an hour-long subliminal, and you listen to it when you're in a relaxed state. I've got a lot of people that are doing it before they go to bed or when they first wake up in the morning. And you can even do it though when you're working throughout the day and have it on in the background. It's still going to have an impact. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how and hearing how that lands. All right, beautiful people. I think that's it for now. I just wanted to do a brief little money riff, and let me know if it stirred something up in you. I am sending you so much love, and I'm going to be here a little more regularly. I'm going to commit to each week coming and riffing on. I will have some other conversations as well with some guests that I'm bringing in. So have an amazing August. If you're still in August, have an amazing August. It's the start of the month. I'm going to try and get this episode out. So enjoy, and I will see you around.